Welcome, welcome.
Wow, that was a banger, Ken. That was
Yeah, you
really
like that?
good. I didn't
I
hear
like
that
that.
until just now.
It took me 2.5 hours to put that on there because anything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. By the time I was done, I was like, this. Like anything else that went wrong would have taken my screen and smashed it. It was like I couldn't believe all the technical problems I had just getting that thing on there. It was ridiculous. I've never had any problems like that to that degree in my life when it comes to doing this sort of stuff. It was crazy. But yeah, I like it. I'm glad you like it. Hopefully our
Where'd you
viewers like
find
it.
it? We'll have to talk about where you got it all later. It was very good. A little more chill than the hard driving rock. That's
Yeah.
just great.
Yeah. I think it's more our speed. So that's how I look at it. So how was your week?
Oh, it's been yeah, so we talked about taking a break. Now I'm in productive mode. I've been just getting stuff done. It's to the point where I getting tired. God, like it just you take 2 weeks off, administration decides to add extra 2 weeks to you. So you have 4 weeks of administration. And because of the state of the ministry, the kind of work this is, I'm planning out for the next 6 months. And
Yeah.
because you got to get events planned and all this stuff. And then I've got a conference next week, which everyone that will change our schedule next week. We're going to be doing a Tuesday show because I'll be out of town for Thursday. But yeah, getting ready for a conference and all that stuff. But it was good. School started back up. So that's fun to watch my kids get tired. I bet you about 50% chance that I'm going to have sick children next week because, kids go to school. What do? They get sick.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
y'all have that to look forward to one day. Nice.
W-
Nice. Someone has to be.
I used
Um,
to when all my kids would start school, it'd be like it was almost like clockwork. Okay, it's time next week's time to get sick. I'm gonna get sick. Everyone's gonna get sick. So, especially at the time when they were in public school, so you had a lot more kids,
oh,
so you're a lot more chances to catch something, and that it never failed. So, I
so
don't
how
miss
was your
that.
week?
Right. No, it was good. It was good. I've been uh I've been really looking forward to tonight because of course, Star Trek is one of my favorite things, and we are in Star Trek week this week. So, as anyone can see, we have our background, all different starships, um, through the different years, and found that online. I thought, oh, this is perfect. So, I'm really excited about what we're doing, and definitely what we're going to be talking about tonight. I am a hardcore Star Trek fan.
Yeah, he
So
is.
big time. Like I've had the technical manuals and all that stuff. I used to have the blueprints of the Enterprise from Next Generation, like the
Wow.
entire set. I don't know what happened to them, but they're probably up in the attic or something. But yeah, it's I've got in fact my daughter got me a couple books for Christmas, and one of them goes through from like the backstories of how the original series began, and then the movies and the Next Generation, and then Deep Space Nine, and then started talking about Voyager. At the time the book was written, Voyager hadn't come out yet, so they were showing like concept designs of the ship and stuff, and what it might have looked like, and so I like reading stuff like that. I like looking at background stuff and how did they do this, how did they do that, and of course I'm the geek when it comes to oh how does the starship work, even though it's fake. I love that stuff. So um,
Like how the transporter couldn't work in reality.
That's true. How it kills everybody every time he uses it and brings back a replication.
Oh no, no. Let's save the transporter. You
That'll be a
know
whole
that.
different yeah, that's a whole different segment for a whole different day. So, definitely, definitely.
Does it kill you each time? Is it the same you? What if somebody try anyway?
I have a whole
Anyway,
theory, and everyone's gonna have to wait to hear it to another day. I can tell you exactly what happens, and it's
are there
pretty
like
crazy.
700 copies of Picard in probably hell? But
That's great. I'm telling you, they don't even know what's going on. The fake people don't even know what's going on. If they knew, they'd stop using it. So, but yeah. So yeah, it's been typically as far as work goes, it's been okay. Humming along good, back on track. Um, like you said with vacation stuff, and you're in a way you're self-employed because
Yeah.
you're running the show. I'm self-employed, so usually you take a vacation and then the punishment afterwards is you got twice as much work to catch up on. So, um,
Yeah.
got a lot of that taken care of last week, and some of the stuff I normally wait to do until the new year, I did prior. I got it out of the way.
Yeah.
One thing like my CEUs for my license, my builder's license, I got it done at the end of December instead of January because 'cause they're due this year. So, every other year, I gotta do them. So because if I don't do them, I'll just automatically forget everything I know, right? You gotta have your CEUs, otherwise you'll just forget.
I
So,
don't know how you could even do your job without having to pay the government a fee every year.
yeah, I wouldn't be able to. So and I would automatically forget everything I know. So
You know, in Star Trek, because they have space communism, I don't think there's such thing as taxes.
no, because they don't get paid. So there's nothing to take. I mean, think about it. So, real quick, in Star Trek II, we see Captain Kirk, Admiral Kirk, who's in his penthouse overlooking San Francisco Bay, and it's like, so if they don't get paid, how did he get that place? Why didn't somebody else get it? Like, who determines who lives where if you don't have to pay for it in the first place? It makes no
It,
sense.
it's space communism,
Yeah.
and when you have space communism, some people get penthouses, and I guess some people don't. And who makes that decision? Well, I don't know. They don't have like tons of the supercomputers are just they're not that smart. So I don't
Our,
know. By the way, you have a
our computers,
request.
our computers are smarter than their computers were.
Oh, for sure. You have a request.
Yes, yes. Just leave your credit card number and I'll fix you up.
It might be made out of wood. Just
Yeah, I'll make it on my lathe that I got for Christmas.
by the way, I don't know if you heard about this. I was reading this thing. They had sent up a artificial. It was like they're using wood to see if wood would be a viable space satellite material. I
Huh.
don't know. Well, it's because in space it can't theoretically rot, right? If you
It
dried it
can't
out,
deteriorate. Yeah, it's gonna freeze, so it's gonna be frozen for all time. So,
but would that make it more brittle? I don't know how wood works when it's in a vacuum.
um, as long as there's no real stress on it, it shouldn't be a problem. Which, if it's just floating up there, orbiting, it
Well,
shouldn't have any stress on it.
it's got to be going thousands of miles an hour in orbit, right?
But
So
there's no resistance.
there's no resistance.
Uh, I mean, there's space dust technically, but I mean, the International Space Station, um, that's built. The walls on those things are remarkably thin.
Yeah,
So, and they're building modules now that will go up there and inflate.
that's
So
crazy.
basically, you've got inflatable material between you and certain death. But that's how they're and I don't know if they've done one yet, but they were talking about, I saw this whole thing about it where they'll launch it up there and then it basically inflates in space so you can put like a huge room up there that you can't normally get up there like conventionally build, but with the inflatable you can because
But what if
it's
something shot through it, like a micrometeor, just right?
they have like Kevlar skin on at least some of those modules because yeah, any sort of projectiles up there like bullets. So they do
Yeah.
have like Kevlar protection on the outer skin of the space station to protect against that sort of thing. And I think the same idea would be for those inflatables. Otherwise, I mean, that would be a real problem.
Yeah, Caleb,
Obviously.
if you're in the chat, Caleb, you should look up woodwork. Say that 3 times fast as a viable space station assembly tool.
Certainly
And would you have to
renewable.
lacquer it? It's certainly
Yeah.
renewable.
Yeah. Never run
Oh
out of it.
wow.
So
So and also in honor of it being Star Trek week, I do have my Earl Grey tea going. It's too hot to drink, but that's how and it's black. It's black, Earl Grey,
ooh,
hot. That's all I did. There's nothing in here. Drinking it, the proper way.
I have my original Enterprise right here.
Nice.
So I have the bigger one on my desk too, but I'm not gonna grab that one.
So are you gonna buy the $400 Lego set? that has the next gen crew?
I've seen it. I don't know. I would if maybe somebody will give it to me for my birthday.
Oh, no, that's not a hint. That's not a hint to anyone in the chat.
Not gonna happen,
It's a lot
but
cheaper, when 2 or 3 people are together.
yeah,
But that's just a
yeah,
coincidence.
yes, indeed, indeed.
They even have, like, Will Riker with the trombone.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that.
They did yeah, when I saw that, you can get a shuttlecraft, what is it? The next gen Enterprise, and, I'm typing it in my search queue here. Yeah, so they have
They
the
got all kinds of stuff you can
shuttle
spend
pod,
money on.
Type 15 shuttle pod,
Okay.
and I'm sorry, it's not in the US, it's $3.99,
Hmm.
and it has Worf, it has Data, it has, Spot, that's a good cut.
It has the
Spot the cat?
cat?
Yeah, as Guinan, Lo Geordi, Crusher, Troy, Wesley, and of course, Picard.
That reminds
Love
me,
it.
I don't have it. I mean, I have it up high. I'm not gonna get it, but up on my bookshelf back here that you can see, up on the top shelf, I have a whole display of action figures in their original, packaging that my daughter got me for Christmas. There's, like, all the bridge crew and a few, accessory people as well. So, never opened. So,
Wow.
that's an investment because
Hey, by the way, Caleb answered us, "Yes, the wood would be good for disposable satellites, but not long-term spacecraft."
a wooden spacecraft. Yes, that's a great idea.
It's like we're going backwards to sailing ships,
We
right?
could yeah, we could build one. We could build one. Maybe they'll launch maybe, what's his name will launch it for us.
Yeah, just
So,
oh, man. So, just we could just keep talking here. So, our schedule tonight's gonna look, well, since it is Star Trek night, we're gonna be talking about a few of our Star Trek stories. I'll start with mine. I have a tier list, and Ken, it's just fun to get Ken on the tier list. So we'll do that. And then we're gonna capstone with reviewing the trailer. If you guys saw the thumbnail, I made sure to put the cuddle circle of all the students on the thumbnail. I don't know if
good.
you saw that yet, Ken.
I haven't seen it yet.
Um, we will be watching we'll talk more about the new Star Trek Academy show when we get to the trailer time. But first, Ken, I don't know if I've ever told you this, and this is for just you and me and everyone who's watching and for all eternity because it's going to be recorded. Did I ever tell you the story of when my friend Justin and I made Star Trek food for dinner?
No.
All right, so here's another birthday gift that you might want to consider for this guy. There is a Star Trek official cookbook. And so my
Seen it.
good buddy Justin bought it. And so it has all sorts of recipes. It has what's that blue ale? It's like just
Romulan ale?
Gatorade. Yeah,
Romulan
so
ale?
it's like Gatorade and Sprite and
Yeah.
they said you just can't get it on Earth, but this is as close as you can get to it. This is Romulan ale, has like gack and approximation is like noodles with dye. But then it had Bones baked beans. And
Yeah.
Bones baked beans are really good, but they also are made with about half a bottle of Jack Daniels. So
An
we
explosive
decide,
combination that
oh
Kirk
man.
said.
So we decide we're gonna watch as many of the Star Trek movies as we can, and we're gonna make Star Trek food. And so that's what we did. We made tons of Star Trek food, he and I, and then we're eating them and we are watching the films. And so I don't know. Do you know how to cook with alcohol? Have you ever cooked with alcohol before?
I haven't. My wife does, but I haven't.
So when you're cooking with alcohol, you leave the top off so the alcohol evaporates out and it just leaves the flavor. It doesn't stay in the dish.
Mhm.
Well, we made it in a crock pot. So the alcohol hits the glass and falls back in.
Just stays in.
And so we know nothing. I'm just like, I might be 21. I might be underage. I don't know. And he doesn't know that. We don't know anything. We're just following the recipes and using a crock pot. And so the alcohol does not cook out. And
Mm.
so we're eating all this food over time, and by the time we get to Star Trek 4, the best one. And if you know why, you should put it in the comments. You should let us know why Star Trek 4 is the best one. I have had maybe like 2 bowls of Bones Baked Beans with a
Mm.
whole lot of Jack Daniels. I didn't know. It's not like I was throwing them back. I was just eating beans.
Mm.
And so the world is my cheeks are getting warm. And the movies are getting better
That's why you like Star Trek 4 so
because I
much.
was probably super tipsy. I had
Need to
no
watch them all
idea. My
sober.
my roommates came in. They said, "Dave, what's going on here?" And I had no idea. I just was eating and drinking by eating these beans soaked in Jack Daniels. And man, all I remember about that night was just how fun the movies were. And then sleeping really well that night.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you're gonna make baked beans, they are real good. Just take don't let the cook the alcohol off. Otherwise, you're just gonna have the best time ever watching Star Trek 4.
I've
You
seen that
will.
book. I've seen that book. There's a couple other ones too. I know, one of my brothers, he used to take, business trips out to,
Uh,
Las Vegas, and this is back when they had the Star Trek experience out there. And one year we were supposed to, several of us were supposed to go, and I don't remember what happened, but couldn't go. Um, but that's when they had the whole, the Enterprise set up. You go through the experience. They
yeah.
had, you know, the promenade on Deep Space Nine and Quark's bar and all that stuff, and you can buy Star Trek food and everything. So he's done all that stuff. Um, I never got to do that because by the time we were gonna go, then they closed the show and that was it. But I would
Lame.
love. I know they have a couple of places. I know New York has one, and out in California they have sets. A setup out there that you can go through. I'd like to hit one of those at some point, or maybe both of them. But, so I'm jealous that he got to do that stuff and I didn't. Um, and I don't have as personal of a story as you do with Bones Baked Beans, but um, probably my closest is I've seen Star Trek 2, the best Star Trek movie ever, probably 50 plus times. And one summer when I was a kid, I would literally watch it every morning. I'd bake
Wow.
pancakes and eat the pancakes and watch it, and by the end of that summer, I pretty much had the whole movie memorized. Like, I could go through and tell you every scene, every word that was said in that entire movie consecutively. So, I don't remember that anymore, but I definitely had it back then, which means I was probably watching that movie too many times. But although you can't watch that movie too many times because it's
Wrath of
that good.
Khan.
So
Wrath of Khan is a good film.
it is a good film.
Um,
It's like the music score. In fact, I was gonna get that score and put it on here as background music, but there were too many hoops to jump through, and I'm like, maybe another time. I can't figure it out. I'm not that
yeah, we
smart.
want to be careful we don't get struck by the YouTube algorithm that says that's not music you own. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
that's we'll have to talk on how you when we get to the tier list, I'll have to ask you what do you think is Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan? I'd love to hear your thoughts on him as Khan when we get there. But
Okay.
you'd think that they'd have a Star Trek experience in Florida. Isn't
Yeah,
that
I don't think
like
they do.
of all the states there should be one.
I've looked, but I know there's one in New York because they have a mock-up of the original Enterprise bridge, and in Picard season 3, they had, basically were able to bring back the Enterprise D, and they were all on the bridge and stuff, and that's actually set up in California,
Okay.
um, and you can walk through it and see it. In fact, they have how the bridge, it ramps down on both sides, comes down to the main
Yeah.
area? They literally have handicap rails going around there. It's like, where are you gonna fall? Into the wall? But they really literally have handicap railings. It's ridiculous, but because they had to. The state made them do it, even though there's nowhere to go, because the ramps are too steep. They're too steep for they don't meet ADA compliance. So, they made them put them in there, and they're in there. In fact, one of the final shots of Picard season 3, Picard's in there because the ship went into the museum, and they're there, and those railings are set up. And you think, "Oh, they did that because of the museum." No, they did that because California made them do it. So,
Wow.
um, yeah, but, I would love to go see that sometime. That would be great. But, yeah, so I think I'm excited. I'm ready to go into that tier list,
Oh,
personally.
man. Well, I was just looking into it for you. I just pulled up as we were chatting about it. They're saying that sometimes, some years at Universal Studios, when they do the Halloween Horror Nights, they will have Star Trek Red Alert, and that's like a horror walkthrough you can do. But it's not
Okay,
every year, and they don't do it every year, but they will do that. And they say they do have a traveling experience that has been to Orlando before.
okay. Hmm.
So it you gotta, I guess, keep your ears open. I just read though that they're going to be doing Star Trek cruises.
Yeah, I've heard of those. I've heard they're expensive, but,
Oh yeah.
yeah, because they
If it's
usually
like,
have, cast members and stuff that go on the cruise. It's like a floating, convention,
have you
Star
ever
Trek
been to a
convention.
convention?
No, if we get one near us, I wanna go if I find out about it. I
I
definitely would like
went
to
to
go.
one in New Jersey, and the guys there were the two main Ferengi, the brothers from Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
If I had
Aren't
stayed until like late in the evening, like around 9 o'clock, then Janeway would have come.
Oh, that's
But,
cool.
yeah, Catherine Mulgrew, that's her last name, right?
Yeah.
Um, who is the security officer on Enterprise, the black guy?
Worf,
What's his
Michael Dorn.
No, 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 Enterprise.
Oh, Enterprise. Oh, okay,
He was
security guy. Oh,
there.
like the British guy?
No, he's an American.
He had an accent, though.
Did he?
Yeah.
And then they had, though, the day before, because it was like a couple day event, Seven of Nine was there. His name is Anthony Montgomery. He played Travis Mayweather.
Okay,
He
yeah.
was there. He was signing stuff. There was, the day before I was there, they had, what's her face who played Seven of Nine.
Jerry Ryan.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
still looks like she did when she was on the show, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah. I know.
Like this, when was Voyager came out?
In the early '90s, I think it was '93.
Yeah, that was Voyager. Okay, well, okay, we keep touching it. So let's move into it because
That's
you and I want to see your thoughts. We're going to start our tier list. I'm going to pop that up here, guys, so you can see it. So right there, you should see the tiers. I'm just going to
okay.
move this over here so I don't have to look over my shoulder the whole time.
Dave,
Um,
you're getting ahead of yourself.
oh, M.
You cannot
Sorry about
forget
that.
the
We
introduction.
can't forget cannot forget the introduction. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. How can I not update this tier list? Am I not able to update the tier list? I want to add a category, but for some reason it's not letting me because there needs to be a category for the best film on this list. But I'll give my 2 cents a little bit. So let me break down the rules for you, Ken. We
Alright.
have both the movies, I believe the movies and the TV shows. They're going to be put in the same categories, but we're gonna rate them not necessarily the movies against the films, though that will happen. We're
Right.
going to be rating just the shows versus themselves and the movies versus their movies, but they're gonna be in the same categories.
It's a
Remixes.
challenge too because it's like you got the shows and then you have the reboot shows. It's like
Yeah. So
it's
here
tough.
is oh, you see it right there. There's my list I made last week. There is S tier being superior, A being the great, B being right in the middle, C, and then D tier. These are the worst. And then of course the honorary best category, Wales, with Star Trek.
You mean Wrath of Khan. Gotcha.
No, that doesn't go in the Wales category.
Uh, No,
Whales
you're
gets its
right,
own
it doesn't,
category.
it goes above the whales category.
But Ken, I'm gonna let you, other than my whales category for being the best one, and it is the best one. Let's see what
Uh,
you think. So let's start with, of course, Rathacon is right there. I'll put it right in category A. Why is Rathacon deserve to be up there? Because I know you're gonna put it at the S tier.
it's going right up to the top, right up to the top. That is, in my opinion, the that best Star Trek movie and one of the best movies ever made, I think. It is a masterpiece. Um, the music score, the actors, the acting, the way everything came together, it's very for Star Trek, it's very authentic. It's you can tell they put a lot of money into it. Um, to me it stands out way differently than the other movies.
Okay.
Um, that that's how I look at it. And we can talk about when you want to. We can talk about the reboot version. You want me to talk about that now, or you want me to wait?
Yeah, I want to know. I thought Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job playing Khan,
Yeah,
but that's not the whole quality of the film. I just thought he as an actor was excellent.
yeah. He played a great character. I have a hard time comparing that with the original Wrath of Khan. If I was going to take the movie as a whole and say, okay, we're going to compare this to the Wrath of Khan, which one's better? The original's better. Um,
Okay, I think that's fair.
this one, I categorize Into the Darkness, which is the one you're talking about. That was the
Yeah,
second reboot movie that came out. Um, I characterize that as the best of the three reboot movies. Um, I would put that as in its own
I
category as the best of the three reboot movies.
I agree with you on it being the best of the three reboots, but I got to tell you, I saw Star Trek, the first reboot, Star Trek in IMAX. That was an awesome experience.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I I saw that in the. I mean, I've seen all three in the theater, but I remember the first. Um, yeah, with the original, the introduction and the whole thing that leads up to Kirk's father gives his life and everything. I
yeah,
remember when the stream of shuttles were escaping after the ship had been the Romulan ship had been disabled. There was silence in the theater. Like
oh
it was
yeah,
like overwhelming emotional experience. And me and my brother saw it. He was happened to be down from New Hampshire, and we went and saw it, and it was really cool. Um, but in some ways, I like the second one even better than the first, and then the third
yeah.
one in my mind ranks third. So
But well, okay,
um,
so so Rathacon, I like the storyline. I think that they're totally off base though. Genetic engineering is coming, and it probably already exists, and they're not going to put that genie in the bottle.
no,
And that idea is just it's too fictional because that's just going to happen. Um, it's you're going to have super soldiers inside the next 50 years. Because if we don't do it, America's adversaries will. But
yeah,
yeah, I thought that was a little too. I thought, but they have to have a fiction. My only knock on Star Trek of like the idea of Wrath of Khan was that's a little too tied to the timeline, our real timeline, because doesn't the eugenic wars happen like 10 years ago at this point in real life?
actually, like 20, yeah, it was early '90s. It was supposedly
Yeah,
happened. So
and because
like
what is
almost
it?
30 years ago, yeah, 30 years ago.
Yeah, making us both feel old. So the
We're
eugenic wars.
supposed to also have flying cars.
I
So
know.
you
What is
know,
it? So Rathacon came out in 80,
I want
82?
it was like 82, 83.
Okay. So it had been the original series had been canceled or off air for how long at that point?
The motion picture came out 10 years after the original series ended, was canceled. So
Okay.
1979 was motion picture. So it was either 81 or 82 that Wrath of Khan came out.
Okay. And then there were 3, 4. It was that they were able to keep making movies. I mean, even with Next Gen, they had made how many movies after Next Gen ended?
Well, they made, well, yeah, so the original, Star Trek 6 was made during, I believe, season 2 of Next Gen, um,
Okay.
because there's a lot of redressed, what you call it, um, props that they used.
Hmm.
Um, Clearly engineering was the Enterprise Picard's Enterprise engineering. Um, the 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 president of the Federation, his office was 10 forward, and you can see
Wow.
it back then on a small TV, you couldn't really notice it. You put it on a big screen TV now, it's obvious. With high definition, it's obvious. So, I used to think, "Oh, look, they reused the doors to and put them on 10 forward." No, that was 10 forward. So, and yeah, there but again, they did a lot of they saved money by doing that so they could put money in other places, and that was a killer movie too. That was a good movie.
Well, when you want to save sets. So we're gonna leave. Let's Star Trek 2 there. Let's go to the OG, the original series. Where is that going on this list? So this is not a movie, this is the show. Where is this for you?
It's right behind Next Generation for me.
And
So,
so
the
is that
original series, as a kid, I loved it, and then Next Generation
yeah.
comes along, and it's more updated and special effects and all that stuff, so and the storylines, I do put it right behind Next Generation, though.
So would you say where's the next generation cast? Right here. So there's the big 2 Enterprise series.
Yeah.
So it is next gen S tier and then Star Trek original series is A tier?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew, that's tough. That's real hard.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's keep it in order here. This is so small I could barely see the icons. Let me
Yeah,
do
me
some
too. There we go.
let me do some stuff like this. That's Star Trek Search of Spock, that's 3. Star Trek the motion picture.
Okay, the
That's the
motion
first
picture.
film.
So, let's see, that's, where are we? I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget. Um, yeah, so I have the motion picture for me is number 4 on the list. So I have we've already done Wrath of Khan, um,
Wrath of
uh,
Khan, the original series and next gen.
and then Star Trek 6 to me is right after Wrath of Khan.
Okay, so here's the problem you're gonna run into. You did it your own list is 1 to 10.
I
This
need
is not
oh,
a
yeah,
this
I
is not
didn't
a
even
1 to 10 list. This one
mm,
was great, this one was okay, this one was terrible.
okay, so
So
2 and
you
6,
have yeah,
where
go
do we
ahead.
have,
So you have
2 6 would be in
Wrath
Wrath
of
of Khan.
Khan and then next
Yeah,
gen.
I would put 6 in that same undiscovered country. I would put in the same, S category that you have there.
All right, where I gotta find it here. Start first contact. I might be. Am I missing it? Am I just blind? Is it not? Oh, right
Uh,
there.
there we
So
go.
undiscovered country. These 4 are your like. These are the best that they have done. Like
Yeah.
these are the best movies, and I'm putting them in order. So 2, 1, 6 for your S tier. If you had internal in that tier, that's the best for the
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
And then now for the TV shows. Let's do a couple TV shows. So Next Generation, you like better than you like the original series, which I have to admit, I've never watched the original series all the way through.
Yeah, I like it better. I mean, as a kid, all we had was the original series, and I loved it. But Next Generation, I like better.
So one of my favorite things about Next Gen is they'd always read on tablets. They'd have tablets. But
Yeah.
when they were done with their book, they'd put the tablet down, they'd pick up another tablet to
Yeah, they
read.
had a whole bunch of them. It's like, why don't you have it on the same one?
Yeah,
It
and
doesn't
they
make
would just like
sense.
walk in with a stack of tablets.
Yeah. And our tablets today are more advanced than theirs were, which is crazy. But
Well,
yeah.
but I mean, you've read the things, all like cell phones and tablets. are literally based off of that. Like they saw
Yeah,
them in those 80s TV shows and they're like, we got to make that. I mean, literally, the flip phone was inspired by the communicator in the original series,
yeah, yeah.
which
That's
is,
what I thought was cool about it too. That's why I had one.
yeah,
So,
that's
so
claims
we've
to be a
got
super. I didn't claim to be a super fan, but I am a big fan. I have not seen the whole the one. We only just watched, believe it or not, my wife and I, Deep Space Nine all the way through. Did we finish it? But yeah,
yeah. I'm about getting ready to watch Deep Space Nine again. I haven't seen it in a few years. I like that.
it
I
was.
like that show.
Yeah, you know what? I was surprised. I was surprised. The Dominion War was very good. All right, so let's. Speaking of which, why don't we just talk about that one now? Deep Space Nine. I'm putting it at S tier. Where does that go on this list?
Deep Space Nine for me would be in the A list, as well as Voyager.
Okay. Now, which one of those two is higher?
Honestly, I think I like Deep Space Nine better.
So, hmm.
And here's why I say that. I think Voyager had a lot of potential. Like the first season, it was like, okay, we're stuck across the galaxy. We can't get home. And so their problems were like finding fuel, finding food,
The
all that
concept is
stuff,
great.
surviving, right? Which is what
Yeah.
you would expect. And after in like season two, it's like everything's fine now. We don't need to worry about those things anymore, you know? And every time they had a scuffle or a battle, it's like they have new carpet, new paint, that they go out and painted the hull because that's most important, right? And so that to me was like they missed the mark. So there's a two-part series, a two-part show called Year of Hell,
Okay.
and where the ship's just getting battered and battered and battered and worse and worse and worse. Originally, that was supposed to be an entire season. And for
Really?
some reason, they didn't do that. It's like, you should have done that. That would have been amazing. You could have done several seasons. By the time they
Yeah.
got home, that ship should have been so battered and beaten because it had, it's not like they could go to space dock and fix stuff. So that to me was it gave me like it doesn't feel like they're really that far away from the Federation when they're constantly, everything looks normal and brand new and fresh in every episode. It doesn't work. So
I think that would be a cool season. Like, we the beginning to end of the season, the ship gets the snot kicked out of it. Last episode, or maybe the first episode of the next season, they
yeah.
find some friendly aliens that help them buff out the dents. you know?
Yeah, and it's all about survival and everything where it really didn't become that. I mean, they spent a lot of time on the holodeck, which doesn't that use a lot of energy? I mean, why are they
Oh
using the
well.
holodeck, you know?
So that's a question all the time. Like how so dilithium is how they power the warp drive, right? Does it also power all systems on the ship?
Depends on which technical manual you look at because the original
Yeah.
series says it's dilithium that powers. Next Generation says dilithium just channels the power, matter and antimatter, and channels through dilithium to create the power.
Okay.
So, depends on which
Depends on
it's
who's
like the
writing.
writers aren't coming together and making up their minds which one it does. But basically, if you look at the original series, you look at the reboot original series, it's dilithium. So, but eventually it runs out, and you have that's
Oh,
why
we'll
they
get to that. We'll get to
yeah,
that. So when I look at Deep Space Nine versus Voyager, Deep Space Nine has, of course, Worf, who is excellent.
yeah,
Um, I do like the Doctor. I do like Seven of Nine, of course, because every young man at the time were watching that show, like I would like Seven to Nine. Um, I kinda what's his name? Who was the Vulcan? I liked
Tuvok. He was
him.
a yeah, I liked him.
Tuvok's a great character. But when I go to Deep Space Nine, you know what? I do like Odo. I do like the Doctor in Deep Space Nine. Now, who's the better Doctor?
Yeah,
There you go. Who is the better Doctor between those two shows since you have them the same rank?
I think the Voyager Doctor was more interesting to watch just
And
because
who's
of
the best
what he
Doctor
was.
in Star Trek? Since every show has one. I think, right? Doesn't every show have one?
I'm gonna say McCoy.
You're gonna go with Bones?
Yeah. He has
I
the
mean,
best character and everything, and it's funny because Next Generation season 2, they tried to bring in a woman version of him, and it didn't take well
Oh
with
yeah,
the fans. So then they went back to Crusher. They brought Pulaski
she
in, and she
yeah.
was like afraid of transporters and had the southern attitude and stuff, and it just didn't work. It was like you're
I
just
liked
doing
her.
what you've already done.
Yeah, I liked her, but Crusher was better, and that, and
Yeah,
also because they were kind of trying to ship them or put them together, Picard and Beverly Crusher. And I guess that
yeah,
well, that does become canon, correct? That does end up being what happens.
it does
Um,
happen. Yeah, yeah,
um,
and that shows up in Picard that they were married at one point and then they separated. So, which
but
also shows up in the last episode of Next Generation when they went to the future. So they kept that in there.
yeah, I did like I actually like this is weird. I like that relationship. Yeah, I think out of the current series, I think probably like the Doctor from Voyager, then Crusher, then the Doctor from Deep Space Nine. Um, I think as far as all right, you want to have the real hard discussion. Who's the best captain? This one gets the internet all torn up. And if you have you have an opinion on the in the comments, you should say who you think the best captain is as well, because
Yeah,
this one gets people all twerked.
it's
I'm
a
just gonna
tough
take the
one.
easy way out and just say Picard.
It's hard because it's like Picard has his own personality, Kirk has his own personality. Kirk's the fighter,
Yeah,
Picard's like the peacemaker. Um, and I like it's funny because in Star Trek Generations, when they come together, Picard needs Kirk because Kirk's a better fighter. And so, I like that about him. I think Picard has probably I would bet Picard is probably the favorite among a lot of Star Trek fans. And maybe because I mean he had 7 seasons, right? And
recency
4 and
bias.
4 movies. And then and then 3 more seasons of his own show.
Yeah,
So I think he's probably the favorite. And, that's tough because it's like I grew up with Kirk and then
yeah.
Picard comes along. So it's like and Picard really became his own, the first season it was a little rough. He didn't know who he really was. And then he really came on his own and so that's a hard one though. Man, I almost don't want to answer that. Um,
I for me it's easy because when I was little, the first Star Trek I ever watched was Next Gen.
yeah,
I found out later about the original series.
yeah,
And so easy for me to make that decision because Picard has his Riker and that has his Kirk, and it's Riker.
yeah,
Riker's supposed to be what Kirk is.
yeah,
And Riker probably my favorite character on Next Generation.
yeah. Without him, the show I don't think would have done nearly as well. I mean, it's like they all. I mean, Data. If Data wasn't there, they kind of all work together. But yeah, Riker's definitely he brings humor to it and everything, and yet he has that, and so did Kirk. But he has that cowboy charisma about him too.
Swagger,
So
yeah.
yeah, a woman, yeah, a player, definitely a player.
Do you know that Brett Spiner and John Franks are going to do a podcast together? They just announced it.
Are they?
Yeah. So it's not going to be only about Star Trek. They are going to talk about movies and everything they've acted in, but they said we're also going to talk about Star Trek.
Okay.
So they want to do both, but they'll because I didn't realize that Brett Spiner was a singer, and
He's
I
a
know
singer.
that.
I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah, and I know Jonathan Franks. He does directing and still some acting, but yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna be okay. So let's stick on track. Well, so we got. Let's look at this one. The Search for Spock. That's movie 3. Where are we putting that one?
Movie 3 would be, let's see, so we're up here. That would be in the A list.
Okay. I'll put that over here. And since it's in the cat, let's stick with the original series movies first, and then we'll move into the next generation movies. And we'll keep this one. Where does Star Trek 5 land?
I'm gonna have to put that up at the bottom.
Like
That
B tier, or are we talking C or D tier?
I'm gonna put that down in the C tier.
I don't think it can be down here in Really? That
It's
low on your
it's
list?
yeah, and you know why? And it's not even the fault of anybody in particular, but that was directed by William Shatner, Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Um, but he was also, and he's blamed for how low it did, but he was also given a shoestring budget, and you can tell. The special effects are really lacking. Um, the ship itself, the sets look cheap, because they were cheap, and they got a lot of technical details wrong that drive me insane. I'll give you two quick examples. One is one scene, several scenes. They fly in by shuttlecraft into the hangar bay, and in comparison to, say, Star Trek Motion Picture, where they show you the scale of people versus the Enterprise, and the little guys floating around outside, they're like twice the size as they're supposed to be. So, like
Hmm.
in Star Trek Five, it's like the ship is they're not that big. The ship wouldn't, it doesn't make any sense. That means the ship's a lot smaller than it should be. And then the other part is they had a scene where they were in a turbo shaft, and they were trying to escape, and Spock has his rocket boots on, and he rockets them up all the way up to the top of the turbo shaft where the elevator was supposed to be. It wasn't, and they went like 80 decks. It's like the ship doesn't have 80 decks; it has like 20. So I was like, "Who wrote this?" Like, you do not know Star Trek. It's like I could have written it and corrected them on all these things. Stuff like that drives me nuts. But yeah, you, on that in that movie, you didn't feel like you were actually on a ship in outer space. It felt like you were in a living room. It
So,
just
is that the one with the Voyager spacecraft? Is that one?
no,
With
no, no. That's
V'Ger?
no, that's the first one. That's
Oh, that's the
the first one.
that's V'Ger. Okay. See, I
This
don't
this
know
is
the
the one where
numbering. I just remember
Spock's
the plots.
yeah, Spock's renegade half brother Cybok thinks he's
Oh,
found God. Turns out to be an evil alien
from the
and
center
takes
of
him to
the
the center
universe.
of
Yeah.
the galaxy. And somehow he's able to take over the Enterprise. Like no security were on board. He just gets on with his band of misfits and takes over the whole ship in like 5 minutes, which made no sense either. So, um,
Which one is the movie where Scotty goes like, "We've got it rigged up like a Christmas tree," and they're able to pilot the whole thing from the deck?
Star Trek 3, when they stole the Enterprise,
That's one of the
search for
best
Spock.
lines in the series, the search for Spock.
Yeah.
Got it rigged up, and somehow because they have it all rigged up, it's
He's like,
easier for it to break.
yeah, he's like, don't give me too many bumps. So yeah, that was well, no, actually, he says that in Star Trek 2 after he like repairing the ship, and their cons still are going after him. But it mentions it again in Star Trek 3 because they had it all rigged up automatically because Kirk thought they'd be able to go back, and then they couldn't go back, so they used that to their advantage and steal the ship because there was only like three or four or five of them on board running the whole ship, but everything was hooked up, so it was automatic. So, but that had all happened between 2 and 3 when they were coming home and trying to repair the ship enough where they could fly out again. But
It's
anyway,
so funny when you think about that because with the computer, they probably could do that. But back
yeah,
then, people just figured, well, you're gonna need like 100-man crew to to make this thing work.
yeah,
But
yeah.
today, you'd be like, I just have a algorithm running it for me.
I
Okay,
just have a phone running the whole thing. You know.
yeah, I don't have to actually do any of the math or any of that stuff. It just does it. But how people have understand technology has changed so much. I mean, even movies
Oh
that
yeah,
came out 10 years ago are just so they're out of date. Okay, so
yeah.
let's do is that all the let's do the before we get into the modern TV shows, let's end with the with Star Trek Enterprise. This is the last movie to come out before basically they took a break for 10 years. Pardon me. So where would you put Star Trek Enterprise?
That's gonna be. I actually like that show.
I do
Um,
too.
I'm probably gonna put it. Oh boy, I'm probably gonna put it in the A list, all the way to the right there. I'd put all the way to the
Okay.
right.
I'm gonna put all the TV shows all the way over and keep the movies separate.
The funny thing is because that show came out as Deep Space Nine ended, Voyager was still running, and
Yeah.
Voyager had a couple seasons left, and the network was pressuring um, the leadership over there. Rick Berman, I think, is who was running the show, um, pressuring them to come up with another series. And they were like, "It's too early, we're burnt out." And all, no, we want another show. So they went ahead and they made Enterprise, and literally as Voyager, the final scenes of Voyager, when they were on when they were on the bridge and they had just arrived home, and you see them on there. As soon as that shot was over, the deconstruction crew was coming on and ripping the stage down around them, basically to build the new sets for Enterprise. That's how fast they turned it around.
Wow.
And the problem is, though, Enterprise is so far removed from what normal Star Trek is that
Yeah.
a lot of people, including me, initially were like, "This isn't Star Trek," you know? And my initial reaction was I didn't really like the series that much. And a few years later, though, I went back and watched it, and I'm like, "This is actually a good series."
Yeah.
And if they had just waited a couple years and brought it out then, I think they would have done a lot better initially. So,
Well,
um
wasn't that the first or the only so they all Star Trek's TV shows up to that point had the musical score as an introduction, and
This one
this
had a
one had
completely different score.
and it
It was
wasn't a score, it was like, "It's been a long road."
yes. Yeah, and I remember hearing that, like, what is this?" "This isn't Star Trek," you know?
And it
So, I
and
think a lot of
now
people had that reaction too, but
I
watching it
I like
separately by itself, it's good.
yeah, I think the problem that this is another problem is they didn't put it on a major network. They put it on like a side channel. So it wasn't like on ABC, CBS, NBC. It was on like I had it on TBN or something like that. It was
They
like
were selling it to individual, like, whatever stations would take it, that's when they were selling at that point. And I
yeah,
think that started with Next Generation. And then they created their own UPN network, which is,
that's what
now
it
it's
was.
Paramount Plus. But yeah, they ended up creating their own. But when Next Generation came out, they decided to sell to individual, like, so for us, Next Generation in New Hampshire was Channel 8. Um, and I think that was ABC. I think it was it was ABC. But then Channel 9 was also ABC, had the same stuff except it didn't have Star Trek. So
Hmm,
they were selling to individual stations, and then they ended up coming up with
across
their
the
own
country.
network. UPN was the one that was saying, we need another show. We need it now." And then, it was really a mistake at the time. Now they're actually putting money into right now, a sequel to Enterprise with Scott Bakula, Captain Archer, and the crew.
Really?
Yeah, they've been talking about it the last several years, but now they're actually writing for it and putting money into it. So it sounds like something's going to happen. So
I'm I'm just so hesitant about that. I really so the thing that we haven't talked about with the TV show is so the TV show does have an overarching story, but they are whole begin, middle, and end every episode prior to like up until Star Trek Enterprise. After that, it's a whole different story. But they did have something that would connect. But Next Generation, you could watch one episode and not watch another one for a year and pick up watching any of them, and you'd feel satisfied.
right, right.
Um, Deep Space Nine did have a storyline that got thicker as the show went on.
Once the war started, it was you had to
Yeah,
watch each episode and know what was going on. Yeah,
and Voyager more had a story than not as well because of them trying to get home.
yeah,
But Next Generation had times when there was a story, but I don't think they were trying to tell an overarching message in the background.
yeah,
And that's what actually makes it such a great, easy to rewatch show because
yeah.
you could literally find I because you saw it on one network. I remember when Sci-Fi got Star Trek, they made a big deal of Sci-Fi Star Trek coming to Sci-Fi Channel back in like the
Mhm.
90s. And I would
Yeah,
just, be in the middle of the day or late in the afternoon, and they'd have like four of them play in a row. And you just sit down and watch an episode or three with your family, and
yeah,
you'd be satisfied. And you literally could walk away for 2 weeks and come back and watch them again.
yeah,
That's one of the just as a like if you're looking for comforting or easy TV, Star Trek Next Generation is like perfect for that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because it's always satisfying. Now, it
yeah,
always makes you want like a replicator and for some reason the holodeck always got out of hand. The-
yeah.
like Like,
They had the worst holodeck on that ship. It killed them. I don't know, almost killed them. I don't know how many times.
and
I
then
don't
one guy
understand.
almost took over the ship from the holodeck, and they
Moriarty.
had to put him in like a little, like a little flash drive.
Yep. That was this big. It was this big. Nowadays it would be this big.
And you go like, oh, and so he just always had a thing going on, or they'd somehow get locked in the holodeck and they'd have to do like pretend
I
to be Sherlock Holmes until the
I never
very end.
understood
Or
that. It's like, do they not have an off switch? It's like,
don't they
just
have a
shut it
guy
off.
with a crowbar?
Yeah. Yeah. An override, you just open. Why did the doors have locked? Why does the holodeck door have a lock on it in the first place? It's not a prison, you know?
Well, the
That,
implications there are weird,
that
but
makes no Yeah, well, yeah, I understand that, but
that's
it's
just, yeah.
still it's like
Enough said, right?
there should be an override that works, like a physical override that doesn't require a computer to control, you know? But
Yeah,
I
and then
never
of
understood
course
that. Like, we can't get in, and we can't we it's like, shut it off, you know?
it's just turn the
Pull
power off.
pull the cord, you know? Makes no sense. Makes no
That, and of
sense.
course you've heard of the Worf effect, right?
The Worf effect?
Oh, okay. So Worf is amazing. He's big. He's muscly. He's a big dude. He's a
Mhm,
Klingon. He's the Klingon's Klingon, right?
mhm.
Um, you think if you and Worf were in a fight, you'd be like, I'm winning. Because if you and
Oh,
Worf versus a whole bunch of other
oh, yeah,
people,
yeah.
you
Not
are gonna win that fight.
not if I'm
Yeah.
fighting
If you are
Worf, no,
fighting
but
Worf,
yes.
you're gonna say, I'm gonna get my butt handed to me right now.
Yeah,
So
I'm in
the
big
Worf
trouble.
effect
I can
is
run faster than he can. I can run faster away from him.
I bet you could. But so the Worf effect is, in order to prove a guy is strong, he has to knock out Worf in one hit.
Yeah.
So they
Okay.
gotta take the biggest, strongest guy has to be defeated by someone else. And so the Worf effect is always where like that really powerful thing just gets defeated all the time. Um,
Yeah.
for the people who are listening, Pikachu from Pokemon has the Worf effect. Who from Star Wars has the Worf effect? That you think they should be awesome? Why are they getting their butt handed to them all the time? Um, Qui-Gon Jinn kind of has the Worf effect done to him. Um, like, how is this really? Oh, yeah. How does this really experienced Jedi get his butt handed to him? And
Well,
Worf
yeah,
always gets it handed to him, and it doesn't make any sense, but that's how it
yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, look it up, the Worf effect. And so, but I really like that about Next Gen. I do like that. Now, you're making me want to watch some of these. I haven't watched them in a while. Hey, if my wife is listening, if you're looking for a fun gift for me, you should start getting me some of these movies on Blu-ray. Just saying. Just saying.
I
All
have them
right,
all.
are you ready to disappoint me, Ken? Where
Sure.
does Star Trek 4 belong?
Oh man. I'm gonna put that, man. I will put that in the A list. I'll put that in the A list.
Okay,
I
so
do
does that
like it.
go
I do like it.
So is that
Um,
above Star Trek Search for Spock, or is it correct? It's like the
it's
lowest of the A tier.
let's see. Where did I have that one? Number 4. It's above, it's definitely above number 5, um, The Final Frontier. Um, I actually have it behind Motion Picture. So, if I were to rate these in order, these 6, it would be 2, 6, 3, 1, 4, 5. So,
Okay.
putting it in A is fine.
All right. So it's your A tier, but it's staying in my whales tier. I have control of the list. It's staying in the whales tier. All right. So let's move into the next gen. Oh, wait. We forgot the cartoon.
Ooh, the cartoon.
Oh, snap. Where's that one go? That's the original series cartoon.
That's tough. The cartoon was cool because they could do stuff that they couldn't do in the live action because it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
So you got to see things that you didn't get to see in live action because it was cheap to do. And the funny thing is, it's all the voices were the original cast. It was actually
Really? I
them.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Um, Let me see. Boy. I'm gonna put that. I'll put that in the. I'll put it in the A list for nostalgia. I used to watch that as a kid.
I put that over here. So where does that go? But so let's move all the shows
Oh, you're getting complicated on
together.
me now. You're
So
getting too
I'm keeping the
complicated.
original series at the top.
I mean,
Deep
the
Space N
cartoon for me is gonna go last on that list.
Okay.
This is the cartoon.
I think that's the so the original series, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, the cartoon, that's about right in the order in that area.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move into next generation films. We did that one. I'm gonna put all of the uh the remake stuff down here for now. Put all these guys up here for now. Am I missing a film? Are we missing a film? Where's First Contact? Right there. Generations, Nemesis, Is that they only did 4 films with
They
the
only
next
did
gen film?
4. I if for time's sake, I'll give you my list on that right now.
Sure.
It first being the best, Nemesis, First Contact, Generations, Insurrection.
So Nemesis, S tier or A tier?
I'll put that in the A. I'll put that in the A.
Okay. And First Contact?
I'll put them all in the A, but that's the order it is. It's Nemesis, then what did I say? First Contact, Generations, Insurrection.
I won't lie. I
Won't fit, will it?
I didn't think Nemesis was that good.
I
But
liked the
first
action of it, but I did not like the ending.
I think First Contact is an excellent that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I definitely like First Contact. I think I just like the battle scene where the Enterprise is
Yeah.
getting, pulverized, but they're still surviving. That's my favorite part of the movie.
Was that the first time they ever had a Federation starship ram another ship in film? Because I know they did they made a point of having the ship ram another one in that Star Trek the remake
Yeah, I think that is the first time.
because they didn't do a full on ramming like they did with this one.
No.
I
No.
think that's fair. I prefer First Contact. Generations was great. I can't remember Insurrection for the life of me.
Insurrection, it wasn't that good to me. It was like honestly, I think Insurrection it should have been like a TV episode, not a movie. So, it didn't have that movie status. Generations, it was good, but there were so many technical problems with that movie. When it comes to the destruction of the Enterprise, I'm convinced that Riker did that on purpose because he was so incompetent in how he handled the Enterprise in that situation, that he basically allowed the ship to be destroyed. So,
Hmm.
and we could do a whole segment on that. I could explain all that exactly what he did wrong according to Star Trek canon. What he did wrong, he should have been
No,
court-martialed. So,
there that's something else. Okay, so let's move into let's first do the remakes before we get into the modern stuff. Um
remakes, as far as the movies, you want an order on those?
yeah, and where would you
Uh,
put them on the list?
Into the Darkness, then Star Trek: The Motion, or whatever, it's just called Star Trek, the first one, and then Star
Yeah.
Trek Beyond. That's my order, and I would put them on the same. Let's see, where are we? I would put them. I do like them, and it's like because
Yeah.
technically, the special effects and everything are amazing. So I would probably put them up in the S category for that reason, but they're their own
You
category almost.
Okay, we're not really rating these against
No, we're not rating them against the other movies or
See, I
shows
would
or anything.
put this one just on A tier. You know what I mean? And
Okay,
if I would probably just to like an internal ranking, Into the Darkness, Star Trek, and then this one would go down here. But that's how I would rank it.
yeah,
And the only reason why I'd probably keep Star Trek the remake high was let me tell you when I saw that alone in IMAX and like when it came out,
yeah,
you could hear and feel like the nacelles warping up in your lungs in IMAX, and
yeah,
that was I never had that experience before. And when it hits warp and you're in the IMAX theater, it feels like you're moving.
yeah.
Um, And so because they leaned into the awesome, that was really good. Or in, of course, Into the Darkness, where they have the secret military grade ship chasing down the Enterprise
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
catching it in warp.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's hard for me, it's hard to, you know, my order, what I gave is how I came up with it, but it's like they're so close together, um, that, that in the way they did things, I definitely think that, Beyond is number 3, although the scene where the Enterprise was being destroyed was pretty cool. Um, but the rest of it was kind of I don't think the storyline didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Um,
was it
you
Beyond where the Enterprise comes out of the water? Was it that one?
No, that was Into the Darkness.
Okay, because that's a cool scene too, where he
Yeah,
just comes
yeah,
out of the water.
yeah,
Um,
that was cool.
I think what we're running into here is the tier list does not really cut how, because we have three sections here. We have movies, TV shows, and then we've put in a whole third category now
Yeah,
the reboot.
yeah,
Because so what you and the way that I'm seeing understanding your list, it's these are all these two are you legitimately, I would say with A and S tier, you legitimately enjoy these. Like these are good.
yeah,
And so the way that you're doing it, and my understanding it is, this is in these really good things, this is where they are. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah.
All right, so let's get to the modern stuff. And it only has Discovery, Picard. I don't know what the Star Treks are. And it doesn't have the lower decks, the cartoon.
Short treks. Yeah, short treks is just it's like a few minute segments. And a lot of it was done before Strange New Worlds came out. They were doing short treks of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Um, so that's not really a series. I don't know why they even have that on there.
All right, let's
It's
use
not a
that for a
series.
short. Let's use that as a stand-in for Brave New Worlds, since that's not in
Strange,
here for some
yeah,
reason.
yeah, okay. So let's see.
And it doesn't have the cartoon either. We're missing that.
Strange New Worlds would be there's a couple different cartoons. They don't count in my book. Um, Strange New Worlds would be first. Um, Picard would be second, and Discovery's third.
And
And it's funny because like within Picard and Discovery, if I'll tell you this, if Discovery had stopped after season 2, they'd be number 1.
really,
Um, but season 3 and 4 was so bad, it just if you average it all out together, it's down there.
just the
Um,
Burn storyline just drives me crazy.
it was yeah, it was that was ridiculous. It was awful,
Um,
and you know the season itself was boring. They were focusing on other things they shouldn't have been focusing on that nobody cares about. And the proof is it's not me. It's the proof's in the pudding. Their viewership dropped dramatically, and then they go to season 4, which you think, well, it couldn't have been worse than season 3, but it was. Um, Season 5 was okay. It was okay, but it was. I mean, out of all 5 seasons, season 2 is definitely the best, and that featured what's his name, Pike, Captain Pike. Of
okay.
course, is Strange New Worlds. They did a series on him, but that was, both season 1 and 2 were good, but season 2 was the best. And then Picard, season 1 was okay, season 2 was terrible, and season 3 was incredible. So, I think, because of the, it both of them, if all 3 of them had good seasons, it would be tough for me to decide really honestly which one's the best.
Hmm.
Um, but Discovery, I think, would be top because of season 1 and 2. Um, yeah, no, Strange New Worlds. I think they've done a good job with Strange New Worlds. Um, Strange New Worlds to me is what Gene Roddenberry would have done had he had the capability of doing so back in the '60s.
Had
I
the
feel like
money.
they're
Yeah.
realizing his vision of what the Enterprise really would have looked like, and the special effects and the things they were able to do that he only wished he could have done. Um, I really and they've stayed true to the Star Trek story. They haven't tried to go off on these wild tangents and try, go woke and all that stuff. They've really stuck with their storylines, and
Hmm.
it looks like so they've already shot season 4, they've already shot season 5, and season 5, is the finale. They're ending that series, but they've set everything up for a Kirk era series. So,
Okay.
it's from what I've read and heard, is a strong possibility that's what they're gonna do. So, a 5-year mission with Kirk, and Scotty and all them stuff, all them. Which if they do it right, it would be really cool. If they do it wrong, it'll be terrible. So
That's
we'll
always
see
the
what happens.
problem. When I watched a little bit of Lower Decks. There's some girl boss nonsense in there. We watched the first episode or 2 episodes of, Strange New Worlds. I probably gotta give it more of a chance. Um, and then because you were hating on Discovery, I didn't give it a chance at all. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
think you
not
were in the
missing
midst of
anything. I mean, if you watch season
pardon.
1 and 2, you'll be like, "Oh, that was awesome," and then just stop. Because honestly, I've gone back and rewatched. I'll By the end of season 2, I don't watch season 3 and 4 or 5.
Mm,
So if and honestly, if they could have ended the series on season 2, and it probably would have made people mad, but they would have been like wanting more. And everyone was like excited about season 3, and then it was such a letdown when season 3 came along. But no, I mean it's too bad. But yeah, I mean if you wanted to watch season 1 and 2, they're really good. But then just stop there.
the big
So
problem that I see with, so those that don't understand the Burn storyline is, something hits the galaxy that destroys all the dilithium, which makes the ability to do warp drive. And they run out of space gas.
yeah,
And then Discovery goes way in the future and they refound the Federation because the Federation collapses because they have no way to connect the planets to each other. Um, I think that's a super lame storyline.
well, yeah, and there's a couple of problems right off the bat. I'll tell you, there's a couple problems. Number one, so 900 they're 900 years later than where they were. They're still using warp drive. I mean, that'd be like us 900 years from now, we're still driving cars. It makes no
Yeah.
sense. Um,
Uh,
the other thing, I don't know if you thought about this, but according to Voyager, they should have had time travel for the last 300 years in the 900 years in the future. Did you know
yeah,
that?
and then of course, if you look at Enterprise, they already have time travel in Enterprise because it's about them keeping what's the force that keeps
Well,
time in sync in
well, yeah, but
Enterprise?
the Federation literally had time ships
Yeah,
by the 29th century, which is 300 years before this takes place, before this future Discovery and Starfleet Academy takes place. So where are the time ships? They
yeah.
don't
What is
exist.
going on?
Yeah. So little
It
discontinuity going on.
Yeah, the time the see we've talked about this before with other things. Time travel is one of the stickiest elements to write, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Because once you lock yourself into time travel, you're locking yourself into a lot of questions and a lot of problems, like story-wise. It's like, so
Yeah.
if they had time travel, why didn't they go and do this instead? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, they could have. Why did this happen instead? Oh, you're right. And so I it's hard. The one thing we're talking about the dilithium burns, they run out of space gas, and then they're fighting over it. The thing is that's happening, I don't know if you knew this. Did you know the Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings series that came out, like, a couple years ago?
I haven't
They're
seen it.
fighting they have an issue where they're fighting over the mithril. So it's like a resource issue, and mithril is how they do things. And
Hmm.
so you have 2 series essentially fighting over space or magic gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happens is you have writers who don't know how to tell a story anymore. They're just so stuck in contemporary events or trying to flex in on political nonsense thing
Yeah.
that they can't that was my problem with Picard. It was like, why are they using money?
Yeah.
Like, the only people who use money in Star Trek are the Ferengi,
Yeah. Yeah.
because humanity are space communists. They don't use money anymore.
No.
Um, Rings of Power is pretty good. I've heard mixed things on it, Kelly. I felt mixed things about it too. Um, that was one of our comments here. When you've read the books, it's hard to get into anything else. Um, I when that happened, or when they started using bad words in Picard, I
Yeah,
just
it's like, wait a second.
when did they start doing?
I thought you've grown beyond that, right? I mean, the
And they
colorful
make a joke of
metaphors
that.
ended, right?
Yeah,
So that
they
didn't
make
make
a
any
joke
sense.
of that in Star Trek, where they in Star Trek 4.
Star Trek 4, yeah, they made a joke of it. Yeah, back in this time, they used colorful metaphors. They had to swear every other word, blah blah blah, and so they had evolved beyond that. Well, I guess some people didn't. So
It
yeah, that
it
didn't make
just
any sense. It's like
that didn't make
you're
any
bringing
sense.
stuff in there that doesn't. That's not. And the funny thing is, that's not what Gene Roddenberry would have wanted. You know,
Yeah,
people are like, oh, he was woke, but no, he actually wasn't woke. Now he was against. Now he was in certain areas, but he did things in a way where you're not dragging people back into the past. You know, the way he wrote stuff, um, and it was all about the future and better and blah blah blah. And these writers now are trying to change that and make it no, this we're just exactly the same and nothing's changed sort of thing. We just have more technology.
yeah, it's
So
just today with more technology.
yeah.
Um, I think the problem with writing something in further in the future than what Star Trek is, I don't think people can imagine what technology looks like beyond Star Trek. You know what I mean?
No, it's too and I think that's a problem. Like, this is a good segue into my brief
Actually,
preview
right.
review of Starfleet Academy. So we've been talking about, this discovery, how they go in the future and stuff. So yeah, it's hard enough to figure out what's it going to be like in the 23rd century. Well, this series goes into the 32nd century, and that's where
Ugh.
Starfleet Academy takes place, right? How would anyone possibly know what it's going to be like then? It's like that's too far. That's like 1100 years in our future.
Yeah.
Um, and it doesn't. There's a disconnect there. You can't really tell a real. I guess the reality is, if we could make that actually happen and those events actually happen, what we would see there, we wouldn't even understand, right? It wouldn't make any
Oh,
sense
for
to
sure.
us. It's like us now. Let's bring people from 2000 years ago forward to the future right now, and they're gonna watching us look on our magic screens, on our magic device. Oh, we're witches, we're warlocks, we're
Yeah.
casting magic spells. They wouldn't understand any of this stuff. They would have no idea. Um, so I think it's kind of the same way. We would have no idea that far in the future what they're doing. Um, but yeah, I wanted to now I Starfleet Academy, their first two shows came out today. I have purposely stayed away from social media, everything else. I don't want to know anything because I wanted to, for the fun of it, give my prediction of what our reviews are going to be next week.
All right,
And
and
I'm just
just
going to
so
do
bef
this brief.
hold on,
Go
Ken,
ahead.
let me explain what we're doing here so everyone understands.
Yeah.
Ken and I are going to watch the first 2 episodes that came out. They both dropped today.
Hmm.
We are gonna watch them. He and I probably are gonna be just belly aching and just we're gonna be looking like this the whole time. Uh, they dropped today. We're gonna watch them. We're gonna review them on Tuesday next week. We're gonna go a little early next week
Yeah.
for you guys, but also for my schedule, and give you our honest thoughts on it. We're gonna keep this going. We're gonna review the whole series and watch it so you don't have to. Except, unfortunately, if you're my wife, that means you get to watch it too.
Mm.
Are you gonna make your wife watch it?
She doesn't normally watch that stuff. So, although she had said at one point the series looked interesting to her, like not because it was Star Trek. I'm like, well,
All
maybe
right,
she
so
will
let
watch
me
it.
hear your. I'm gonna give you my having watched the trailer. I did look at the social media. Let's hear your prediction, and then I'll give you mine.
I'll give you 4 quick points. Number 1,
Okay.
these are the reasons why I think the show is going to fail. Number 1, it's called Starfleet Academy. Um, think about this. If what if they did a show on turbolift control? You have officers that work in the turbolift control room on a ship, and that's all the series was about. Turbolift control exists, but do we really want a show on it? And I think the answer would be no. Number 2, Second reason, this same idea was proposed about 30 years ago and shot down for the same reason I just gave you. Number 3, Star Trek fans don't care about the 32nd century. It's too far ahead. It's not the Kirk era. It's not the Picard era. It has nothing to do with them. And we've already proven by how Discovery failed in seasons 3 and 4, and even season 5 was mediocre. You're talking about a timeline so far in the future that nobody can relate to and nobody really cares about.
Yeah.
And then number 4, they've been overloading social media trying to sell this show to a new audience because they know their existing audience isn't going to like it. Um,
Hmm.
Star Wars did the same thing with
Oh.
Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, and both shows miserably failed. And by the way, I have never seen an episode of either one. So, and I like to say I had a small part in the destruction of those two shows because I was one of those that didn't watch. So, those are the
We
4
will be
reasons
doing a
why.
Star Wars episode in the future,
Oh yeah,
y'all, like
we
this.
we got we got lots of material to do in the future here. But yeah, so now tell us what you think based on what you
So
saw today.
I'm I think what they're going for is it's going to be like Hogwarts in space. And I really do. That's why they're doing the school thing. I think that they are going to try to build up the school drama, but also it's got to be like Friday Night Lights. If you ever saw that show, which is teen angst and gross, like young people in college type of situation.
Yeah,
Um, I think that it's going to be as DEI'd as possible. And based on what I've seen on social media, that's completely confirmed. It's
yeah,
gonna be so woke. It's gonna be so school shenanigans. It's gonna be unbelievable.
yeah,
And because it is set 900 years in the future, there will be no input by current cast.
yeah,
Because at that point, you can argue, "Oh, it's 900 years later. Of course Kirk is dead. Of course Picard is dead. Of course everyone is dead. Everyone will be dead, and they'll use that as a reason to not bring them on, and they'll also use that as a reason to write and create a completely different Star Trek experience." And
yeah,
so it's literally going to be a skin suit, a Star Trek skin suit on a DEI, mannequin.
yeah,
And it's going to be it's gonna be miserable. And based on the trailers, there's already gonna be the adult content, and they're glamorizing the adult content. Um, Looking at the trailers again, I don't know if you know this, Ken, but by the 32nd century, they have not cured eye disease. So nearsightedness and farsightedness is still a thing in the 32nd century.
They
Um,
also have no, physical fitness standards for entering Starfleet anymore. I
yeah,
noticed that
I
too.
mean, apparently the US military has higher standards for physical fitness than the Starfleet Academy, which makes no sense. By the way, with replicated food, the replicator should be able to make a perfect tasting thing with the perfect amount of nutrition for your body without making you fat.
Well, they did all
And
the way up until that century, apparently.
yeah, and on top of that, if you were starting to get a little chubby, how couldn't they just say, "Hey, step in the transporter.
Yeah,
We'll take a little bit off
we'll
your
beam
side."
off 20 pounds, don't worry about it. I
Yeah,
mean, come on. It's
and
yeah, it's uh, yeah, I
which, by
know.
the way, wouldn't the replicator be the perfect health device? Like, say you get cancer, wouldn't you just hop in the replicator and it would just be like, don't rebuild the cancer.
You could
Hey,
literally live forever. If you go back in the transporter, like, every 5 years, you
yeah,
just come back as a younger person, you could live forever.
how couldn't I just be like, hey, the when I transported at 25, just use that body sequence and just you keep my brain. And you just be like,
Yeah. Every time I transport, you just use that pattern, and I never
yeah, like,
age.
use your contemporary brain pattern, but use the age pattern of like,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
would you ever age? Or if you're sick, why don't you just hop in a transporter? Be like, just don't transport me with the virus infection.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're overweight, why wouldn't you just hop in the transporter and say, "Hey, chief, I'll throw you 20 if you take 20 off."
Because
Be
they
like,
don't have
"Well,
money. They don't have
don't
money of
worry,
those.
this is space communism,
Yeah.
so you're good."
Free healthcare. Free healthcare. So
We did it. We
good to
did it
go.
with the transporter, free food with the replicator, free everything with the holodeck.
Yeah. I'll tell you. I don't know. Well,
I think that the school thing is going to make it a dynamic that is going to attract the normie,
yeah.
the casual. I think that I actually think that the idea of a Starfleet Academy would be interesting. But I think it'd be interesting if it was more of like, how did Kirk get through it? Or how did Picard go through it? Like, you see Kirk being a hotshot in the academy, you'd be like, yeah, this is cool. Like a guy just being awesome in school and doing like the Kobayashi Maru test and like doing that again. I know they've done that. I think
Yeah.
that you could work that. I think that would get a younger audience. I just don't know
I
how.
think that would make a good movie. I don't think it would make a good series though.
I just don't know how DEI in space is going to do well.
Yeah.
And again, like you hit the nail on the head. I can't imagine Star Trek and the 23rd century logically makes sense to me because it looks like a natural progression of what we have plus time, assuming faster than light travel is ever possible. Um, the stuff that we have today is literally based off of the stuff from the TV show. Like, I just don't know what people are inventing with their minds that looks like advanced technology.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much more advanced we can get. I mean, the only thing that they have that we don't now would be the holodecks and the replicators and the faster than light travel.
And
I guess
artificial gravity.
robotics.
Artificial gravity. That's the big
And,
one.
but,
You know.
and if we ever figure that out, we're pretty much set. Artificial
Yeah.
gravity is, yeah. So it's power, artificial gravity. Once you get the power question answered, you basically have every question answered. Once you
Yeah.
have a huge force of power, a holodeck is nothing, a replicator is nothing. Artificial gravity, unlimited power are those the ones, and faster than light. Those are the three things that, if you can figure those out, you got your golden. There will be, just so you guys know in the comments, there will never be a transporter. That is never going to be a thing. Physics
Phys-
just prohibits that.
Yeah. The laws of physics would have something to say about that.
I
So,
think you could possibly have a device that makes a portal that you could walk through. I mean, maybe. I don't know enough, but I know enough to know that a transporter will never happen.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And the only way we could travel those distances is to create like an artificial wormhole. Because the amount of energy it would take to warp space is like more than what we have in the universe, supposedly, or the galaxy, or something like that. So, um, that physicists have come up with. But the idea of a artificial wormhole is theoretically possible. You have to find a way to make one. Which, if you could do that, you could instantly jump from one place to another. You know, great distances. But we'll see if that happens. But
yeah.
probably not.
So
But
here's a fun space thing for you. I think in our lifetime, we will see people on Mars. And I believe in our lifetime, we'll see people living on Mars.
probably they'll live a short
Hopefully.
life and die of cancer. But no, I mean the space program is dead set on making that happen.
Yeah,
And
it's going to happen.
yeah,
None of my kids are going. I won't let them.
no, it's going to be a one-way trip, I
Oh,
believe,
yeah.
and that's what
You're
they're
not coming
talking
back.
about, one-way trip. So, but yeah,
There'll be people living on the moon probably within the next 15 years.
yeah,
Easy.
they're going back soon here. They're going back to the moon to go, collect rocks or whatever they're going to do out there. But yeah, there's a whole campaign about it. Like I went to the Space Center last summer, and it's all they're talking about. So it's actually happening because now they have the ability to do it. But yeah, they're dead set on making it happen, even if it's not practical. But
For the life of me, we have all this stuff. We're talking about Star Trek. We have all these things about space. For the life of me, I could never understood growing up why we stopped going to the moon.
yeah,
It made no sense. Like, why did they do it in the 60s and 70s and just quit?
Yeah, the whole space program really stalled after that. I mean, we were advancing, advancing, and then the space shuttle, and then we ran the space shuttle for 30 years. Like, and it wasn't
N-
until we privatized it that we started seeing advances in spacecraft. So,
So, did I ever tell you I actually you know why they developed the space shuttle? Do you know the reason why they developed the space shuttle?
um,
It's supposed
I
to
mean,
be reusable, and it sorta
right.
is.
Yeah, it's reusable and they can carry cargo in it and stuff like that back and forth.
Do you
And
know how big the shuttle cargo bay is?
the cargo bay is huge. The area where the people stay is actually very small in
The
comparison.
cargo bay on a space shuttle is big enough to house a school bus.
Yeah, yeah,
And so, because the program started during the Cold War, spy satellites are the size of school buses. So the
so the
cargo bay was big enough to ship American spy satellites up in orbit.
yeah, yeah,
So because our stuff was designed to fit in there. So literally it was just a taxi. It didn't do anything other than go up and come back. And
yeah.
and then who killed it? Was it Obama or Clinton that killed it?
Obama did, yeah.
And then they did nothing. And then we don't have a like we have private stuff, but there's no American space program. It's we hired a guy. We hired a couple
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
And, I never for the life of me we have all these awesome space shows, and we're just not doing it. We don't do it.
yeah.
We stopped going to the moon. And then you wonder why people believe we didn't go to the moon.
Well, you and I need to build a wooden space shuttle then because apparently
Uh,
we can use wood in space now.
well,
So,
C Caleb says yes to satellites, no for spacecraft. So, um we can't get there that way. So, Ken and I have talked about this, everybody. When if it doesn't happen before, when we're in the new heaven and new earth, I think we're just gonna be amongst the probably a lot of folks. They're just building copies of the Enterprise just because we can.
yeah,
And then that's my plan. Gonna
I'm good with
my
that.
wife, I'm sorry, babe. That's just what we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be doing that not just on the weekends, but probably for a
Yeah.
while. I'm looking forward to it. That's gonna be fun. Oh, we gotta we do need to do an episode where we just look at the theories and the nonsense if you really start applying it. Like, what happened if the transporter kills you each time? Is it the same soul or does God make a brand new soul each time? And as each time he makes a brand new soul, where does that go if you're an unbeliever? Or if you're a believer, do you you get ripped apart and there's like 20 versions of Dave in heaven?
I think that's what it would be because, when the transporter kills you, you can't go back and tell yourself, "Hey, don't go in the transporter, it's gonna kill you." So it just replicates you with all your memories minus being killed, and you think you're the real guy, but you're not. You're like, you know, however many times you've gone on the transporter, that's how many copies you are, and, you just
So
keep
in
dying each time, and you don't realize it.
So when I think it was Wesley, when Wesley's doing spot to spot transporting on the ship, like just so some of those Wesleys are only alive for about 15 minutes or maybe
Yeah,
2 minutes.
yeah,
That's his whole life, 2 minutes.
yeah.
And he's dead.
And each time it's like, "Oh, crap, what happened?"
Just and you're like, welcome to hell.
And then another one appears next to him. He's like, "Wait, what's going on?" Another one appears next to him on this side. Yeah,
And just like, and you're
terrible.
like, there's 10 copies of you going to heaven or 10 copies of some guy going to hell. And you're just like, wow. So you're in heaven. Say, let's think of the good thing. You're a Christian. You get transported. You don't know this. No one tells you that you've just killed yourself about 15 times. And so there's Dave A through J. We're all here.
Yeah,
Um, because God makes the soul, so he'd have to keep making souls, right?
yeah, you would think
And
so.
so, but then, but it's you. So then, does he just say, hold on," or does he go like, "New soul, guy died, guy's alive," and then if he makes new souls and he This
That's
is
why
when, like,
that's why it's never gonna happen. That's
that
why you know. So,
because if you just think for 5 seconds, you're like, "This is not this doesn't make sense."
yeah,
If you have an opinion on that, you should let us know, but, are you dead?
that
If you
that makes my brain hurt. So,
And then what happened, like, say it was you, and then you're in heaven, your wife never went on a transporter because she's smart. She'd be like, "There's 10 of you here.
how many of you are here? So,
How did
yeah,
you get in
sure.
10 times?" "Transporter accidents." "Transporter accidents? What happened?" "I just went on it."
That's why there's less, Dr. McCoys in eternity than there are everybody else because he was afraid of the transporter. So,
So, but and then you have in the case of Riker, who legitimately has an actual transporter clone who's out there.
yeah,
Is he a clone? Or is he just
he's, like, split from the transporter, so it's him, but not him. Like, it's 2 of him. They're, like, the same person, but then now they have different memories going forward. So,
so yeah, from moment that is where they're two different people.
yeah.
But what happens when, he gets back in the transporter and the other one is in the transporter at the same time? Does it just go like, why wouldn't it just put them back together?
They've done that before, but not in that episode. I don't know.
You just,
Well,
I
we gotta
just,
get to our we gotta wrap up and get to our final segment here because running out of time. But, that's probably a good segue. Since we're talking about the Bible a little bit, we can go right into our Bible segment.
I guess we can. You're talking about a hard shift of gears here, man.
Unless you wanna hold off on it, that's up to you.
Well, we're talking, let's just, I had something prepared about how we get the Bible, but let's just talk about spiritual implications here. So when it comes to, let's stick in the Star Trek vein. When it
Mhm.
comes to Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry was an atheist.
Yeah.
That's just who he was. He was not interested in religion. I think he thought religion was a kind of outdated. I don't I'd have to look at exactly what he said. But to him it was a relic of the past that needed to be put away as we're
Yeah.
progressing into the future.
Right.
Pardon me. And when you look at the series, was in Strange New Worlds where they actually started to talk a little bit about the Christian faith. It starts to show up again. They're talking about God. You see that a little bit there. You do see religion show up in Deep Space Nine quite a bit,
Yeah.
and then you have Klingon Jesus shows up as well.
Yeah. Yep. In Next Generation.
And Next Generation, there's Klingon Jesus, who's a clone.
Yeah.
Um, and so what you see there is that you just can't escape the story of the faith. Why does there Klingon Jesus? Because we know that story in our real world, and they're going to have this guy who saved Klingon. I think that's what he did. What was his name? He was good with the batleth, but because
Ah,
he was a clone, he wasn't the real one. Um,
I can't
when
think
it
of his
comes to
name.
Strange New Worlds, it came because Pike's father was dying, if I recall
Yeah.
correctly. And so he trusts in the Lord to help save his father. And the way they handle it is the Federation is a very secular place. That's pretty fair to say, wouldn't you say that?
Yeah.
And humanity is supposed to be so advanced that we're very secular as well. And so when Pike starts talking about it, you can tell he's physically uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Um, I just want to give everyone some hope. Atheism is not the future.
Yeah.
Atheism is a mistake. There are no true atheist societies. Every time atheism comes about, it's forced on people by men. Atheism isn't native to our dispositions. It is alien. You're going to believe in something. The question isn't what, it's whether, it's which, not what. You're gonna believe. The question is, what thing are you going to believe?
Right.
There's belief or non-belief. It's what kind of belief.
Mhm.
So you're either gonna have Jesus or you're gonna have something else. With secularism, it used to be hashtag I love science. Hey, there he goes. Thank you for telling me the true name of Space Jesus. Kahless, that's right.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Space
Kahless.
Jesus. He was the emperor of the Klingon Empire because he was supposed to, when the true Kahless returns, then what is it? Worf defeats him in battle. It just crushes his faith. They find out it's a clone, makes Worf feel a lot better. And then they
They turned
make
him into an
Kahless,
emperor. Yeah,
they
as
turn
like a
him into the
figurehead.
honorary emperor
Yep.
until the real Kahless returns. Um,
Mhm.
Sounds like end time stuff, by the way. A clone of Jesus would totally be an end times thing, like as a false antichrist, like it's a clone. Anyway, but yeah, so atheism is not natural to human position. Secularism, the idea of just we have no belief, isn't natural. That's why I do believe they have to bring it into the storyline because people are going to believe something.
Yeah.
Um, the thing with technology is technology does not provide, and science does not provide an answer for ultimate things. So, for example, I've said this before to you, Ken. You could dig a hole with a hammer.
Mhm.
It's the worst tool to dig a hole with.
Yeah.
You are going to waste your time, and you're probably going to break it. A shovel is made to dig a hole. A backhoe is made to dig a hole.
Mhm.
A hoe, a hole. Um, Science is not made to carry your faith. Science is made as a tool. And if you start putting your trust and your hope in non-God things, specifically in anything other than Jesus Christ, you're going to find it's going to collapse under your weight. It's going to
Yep.
collapse under its own weight.
Yeah.
Um, and so when it comes to a secular place, you're going to find that people are still worshiping. You see this today. I mean, you see it everywhere. Where, why have they ruined Star Trek? Because they've injected progressive politics and turned it into a religious system.
Yeah.
What's the end goal of progressivism? It's the end of oppression and the total equality of man, which is sounds like communism. Um, because that's what they have to do. The story of sin in secularism is there's some sort of oppression that needs to be undone. What's the answer to the oppression? Well, either removing the oppressors or creating an equality.
Right.
When it comes to the Christian faith, what do we say the issue is? The issue is sin, and sin destroys relationships. It mars our ability to interact with one another. What's the answer to sin? It's the shed blood of Christ and your faith in it.
Mhm.
Um, you're always going to have a belief system. It's what you're doing with it. The answer is that there is no way to cure oppression in the secularist view. Their only way in the Christian view, because there is sin, we have a person in particular who can remove sin. There's no
Mhm.
nebulous concept like you have in progressivism that we have today. We have a person who literally can save you from these errors. Like, we
Yep.
don't put our faith, hope, and trust in an idea. We put our
Right.
faith, hope, and trust in a man.
Right.
Like, I don't know about you, Ken. I would have a very hard time dying for an idea. I have a
Yeah.
very easy idea. It seems very easy to me to want to die to protect my children.
Yeah.
Why does somebody fight for their country? Not they might love the red, white, and blue. They might love freedom of speech, but they go to fight for their country because they love the people that are in it.
Mhm.
Um, when you are living in this world, you see it with seculars today. There's something off because it's not about people; it's about an idea. You
Yeah.
need a person, you need Christ. And I would say jump onto it. I think Roddenberry is right in which he says we should strive for a better society. I think where he misses the point was he was riding on Christian assumptions. A world where there's no swearing sounds great, doesn't it? A world where we
Yeah.
can explore the universe sounds amazing. And what it does, the reason why that like connects to our hearts is because we want that final frontier. We want to see the amazing things of the universe. It's becoming one of my favorite Bible verses. It's God's it, it it's God's glory to hide things, and it's man's glory to find them. It's a glory of kings to uncover what God has hidden. And so,
Mm,
like, wouldn't you love to be able to go out there and see, like, look at this thing. Look what we found. What do we know about it? And so
yeah.
see them getting on the Enterprise and they're going across the galaxy and they're finding new life and new civilizations. That hits us because we're created to delight in discovery.
Hmm.
Secularism of Star Trek uses that assumption, but it misses the source of it.
Right.
So if
Yes.
you are, and I would say this, Christians probably enjoy that show more because we believe in a God who's made such a big, beautiful universe, and we just want to see every corner of it.
Yeah.
And we want to see a big, beautiful future where there is no cancer and we can set we can have a replicator. And I think that these are good goals for us to have, is to make this world a better and better place until he returns. And
Mhm.
then, be optimistic. I think that's one thing that Star Trek had, and I don't know if it still has. It was very optimistic. Um, Christian, your faith is optimistic. Your faith is positive, and it's good, and it actually does good for those around you. So you can make the world a Star Trek kind of world with our faith. You can't do it without it. And in
Yeah.
fact, just look at the show. The further away they come from the Christian understanding of the world, the the worse the show actually gets.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, there you go. See, I didn't know. See that I kind of wung that in there, didn't I? That goes not what I was planning at
It's
all.
like we planned it that way. It's like we planned it
Well,
that way.
I want to
That
do
worked
this
out.
again. I feel like next week we're gonna both be like, "Why did we watch this TV show?" But,
I'm already thinking that, but yeah.
um, yeah, Star Trek week will be back probably a lot sooner than you think. This will not be a once a year kind of thing.
Right.
Um, if I just say, "Ken, plan out Star Trek week," he probably actually has 3 in the can already.
Oh, I'm good. Ready to go. Wow.
Um,
Well,
we do have a movie review coming out. That won't be next week because we're gonna be doing the TV show review.
mhm.
If you want me to review the, Fallout TV show, I could do that. My wife and I've been watching it. Um, and then we're gonna be reviewing this. I'm probably gonna torture myself and watch, Picard. I'm now, I'm real tempty. So you see what's funny about this? My wife writes nerds on my own account.
So,
And,
have you
she's
seen
gonna be
Picard?
watching it with me.
Have you seen Picard at all?
So, the only, time I ever watched Picard was when we went to watch the first episode at your house. You remember that? We came over?
Yeah, it rings a faint bell.
Yeah, we came
Yeah,
over,
yeah.
we had snacks and everything prepared to go. My oldest was, months old, and we watched the first episode the first time for together, and then the lady commander, the admiral, drops the F-bomb right on top of Picard. I
Yeah,
remember you and I looking at each other, like, aghast, like,
yeah. That's not Star Trek. It's not
yeah,
Star
and
they don't do that.
and,
Sheesh.
just shocked.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, we were over at your house. There
yeah,
are some movies this year that so you all know, there are movies coming out this year. Ken and I have already found a central movie theater between us that we are gonna go see, and I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, that should
Um,
be fun.
I cannot wait, especially this space movie I wanna see this year is Project Hail Mary. That's gonna be awesome. Ryan Gosling for Kelly, who, likes the Barbie movie. He's the main character. But, we'll do this again. We'll have to it won't be too soon, but it'll be soon, Star Trek week. With that,
Yeah.
I got nothing left, Ken. I don't know about you.
Well, we're gonna be back on next week for Tuesday, 9
Yep.
PM. And then after that, it'll be regular schedule. But and we're gonna review those first 2 episodes of Starfleet Academy. And hope you all have a good night tonight, and we will come
Yeah.
back and see you then. So we're gonna
Good
go
night,
ahead and sign
everybody.
off. Good night.